Hello everybody, how are you all doing? Welcome back to Man City Unplugged, your very own Man City fan channel. The squad Pep's pick today is actually very interesting. He has not gone for a full scale rotation like many people expected. I mean, Ake was forced. Anyway, I think he would have kept Ake fresh because Ake would have to go down against Saka for Arsenal. So anyway, he wouldn't have played Ake. He wouldn't have played Diaz for sure because of that sapping performance at Bayern Munich. So apart from that, he's pretty much playing the same squad, right? Especially in the midfield and the attacking wise. See Bernardo, Gundogan, Haaland, Grealish, Mahrez. It's almost like not that much of a rotation. It's just rotated 3 to 4 players. So that's something very interesting for me. Bayaji says FA Cup semis been cursed for many seasons except 2019. Hoping for the best, Bayaji. I hope we get over the hurdle. It's not gonna be an easy match. A few people are telling United, Brighton, that's the tough side of the draw. But Sheffield United have not been useless in the championship. They're high flying in the championship. They can almost be promoted. They're on the verge of promotion, I think. They're very physical. They put balls into the box people say that the style of play resembles when they were in the Premier League, for example. Their two wing backs would go high and wide, and then they would try to put crosses in for both of the strikers to attack the likes of Matt Burney and Ndia to attack. I think it's kind of gonna be the same thing. Baldock is there, Love is there, Norwood is there, Burge, Fleck. I think we can all remember them from their days in the Premier League. I think 1 or 2 years ago. So it's not going to be an easy match. It's going to be a physical match. I actually think Ruben Diaz would have been very good for this match, especially when dealing with those aerial battles. But then you can't play Ruben Diaz in every match. By the way, what do you guys think about Arsenal dropping points yesterday against Southampton? I mean, I really wanted Arsenal to drop points against Liverpool because that was the chance. Against West Ham, I thought probably there was a chance they would drop points. It was unexpected against West Ham. Okay, it could be an excuse. But against Southampton, I was like, I think most of us City fans didn't expect anything from the Southampton game. All everyone expected was Arsenal to win that Southampton game, bottom of the table team, coming to Emirates, fully packed Emirates, perfect way for Arsenal to recover and then uh, face City again. No one expected that result. No one expected that result of what happened with Southampton. Especially two things define me. It's not just Arsenal, dropping points over there. Things that define me were Arsenal fans left the stadium. They left the stadium at 80th minute. Somewhat later, they left the stadium with 10 minutes to go. And that just tells you how much of nerves the supporters are feeling and all of those things. I mean, for me at least, you've got to support your team till the end. And also the second thing is when the referee blew the final whistle, the Arsenal players were just down on the ground. It's as if they thought that's it, it's over, we've given our everything, it's over and things like that. But yeah, this is 17 minutes of injury time. We never get those despite time wasting from first minute. Bayaji, what do we get? We get Edison yellow carded after just 15 minutes when he just takes 1 minute extra on the ball. But then the opposition goalkeeper can take 3-4 minutes extra on the ball, and still they don't get any cards. And I remember Everton game, I think, right? There was some technical flaw from the referee and stuff. Referee's technical instruments didn't work, and 15 minutes sort of were wasted at close, and we were awarded 8 minutes of added time and not a single minute extra. But anyway, despite all those, we are here competing for the title. That's what is fantastic. Sheffield United with an attacking run. Bayeji says why Rico suddenly has been omitted from the team. Last played versus Burnley. I think the main reason Bayaji is that simply is defensive. Sheffield United is very good at set pieces and their corner. But I think Rico Lewis, I think defensively is still not developed to that level. I think when Rico Lewis initially came into the squad ahead of Walker in the Spurs games and stuff during the January February period, uh, that and Sheffield almost scored there. Sheffield almost scored. That's a good clearance of the line. Wow, what just happened there at the corner? Wow, we need to be careful, guys. Yeah, so when Rico Lewis was starting regularly in the January February months, I think Pep was playing a formation of the right back four with the right back inverting into the midfield. So I think with that in perspective, Rico was starting, but now I think it's sort of switched to four centre backs in the back line with one of the centre backs, i.e. John Stones, coming into the midfield from either right back or centre back position. I think in this new formation, the first preference is for that person who inverts into the midfield should be a centre back, so that when we lose the ball, we keep the shape. We have four centre backs solid in the back. I think Rico Lewis can't provide you that. That is why Rico Lewis, I think, is still not there. I think it's the same reason why Kyle Walker is not there. Kyle Walker, Rico Lewis, they're full backs. They're not centre backs. That's why Joao Cancelo also had no place in the team. And also another thing is Pep wants right now Pep wants the back four to have a solid, have physicality, have height, and all of those things. It's very fascinating to see how our team has evolved this season, how Pep's philosophy has evolved. Vinay says many were saying refs tried everything to keep Arsenal. The only thing that surprised me, Vinay, was that at the last minute of that Southampton game, if you see, uh, Gabriel Jesus, I think, and he fell down, and all of the Arsenal players appealed for a penalty. My only surprise was that the ref didn't point to the spot. That was the only surprise. Other than that, the refs gave yellow cards for Kyle Walker Peters and Parrott, I think, who was the other left back, fairly early on. In the 20th minute, both of the fullbacks of Southampton were on yellow cards. Their centre back was on yellow card, I think. Whereas Arsenal defenders were committing fouls, but they were not getting any yellow cards. I don't know, the ref was almost like they tried everything. The only surprise is that they didn't get a penalty at the end. But we have seen this is not the first time, right? We have seen this so many times against Aston Villa. I think Arsenal have got 8 to 9 minutes of extra time. Against Fulham, I think, where they got a late winner, I think they got extra time there as well. It's actually but the surprising thing was against Liverpool, the ref blew early. The ref was just eager to blow up early because Liverpool were having chance after chance. City are struggling here. City are struggling here. To be fair, Vinay says Arsenal players don't want to defend. They always are ready for attack. And the ironic thing there was people were comparing Thomas Partey to as the best CDM in the world, even though there is Rodri in the league. I mean, many Arsenal fans virtually felt that Thomas Partey was better than Rodri, Thomas Partey was better than Casemiro, and all of these people. That's just so ironic, and he had two stinkers. I think he was responsible for Arsenal losing against West Ham. No time on the ball. Sheffield United are pressing well. No time on the ball. Riyad put a cross into the box. It's a Sheffield United free kick. So Thomas Partey gave away the ball for West Ham's first penalty. And then yesterday, I think he was at fault for at least one of their goals, I think. And the best thing, guys, was about Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus. I saw some of the Arsenal fans telling that Zinchenko is absolutely shy defensively. And Gabriel Jesus literally had three good chances. Yesterday was a masterclass by agent Gabriel Jesus, I would say. I think it's I think it's sort of a norm. It's sort of a tradition. Whenever a striker leaves City, it's a free kick for Sheffield United. The goalkeeper's taking it. Defend, guys. Head it. Second balls. Yeah, so whenever a striker leaves City to another fellow Premier League team, I think they always do City something or the other favor. Ian Hatcher, remember Vincent Kompany's Leicester winning that goal against Leicester City had an open goal shot wide. Isn't Ian Hatcher last week again? Yesterday, Gabriel Jesus masterclass. People were telling Gabriel Jesus was in the best of his form, 4 goals in his last 3 matches. Some of the Arsenal fans were so deluded that they were even starting to compare him to Erling Haaland in terms of form. And look at what he did yesterday. They were sitters. They were sitters. I mean, seeing Gabriel Jesus miss goals yesterday, I was like, seen into all of those past his goal misses against Leon and all of those things. That's a great switch. That's a great switch to Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish 1v1. They're doubling up on him. Jack Grealish. Sergio Gomez there on the left hand side will be interesting. The defensive work of. That's a great ball. I thought Mahrez was almost in. JSK says, how will we stop Vinny and Rodrigo? Any ideas? I mean that is tricky. That is tricky, JSK. I mean the question is, do you? That was a risky ball. The Sheffield United player almost intercepted it to Stephen Ortega. This is going to be a tricky game. So that's an interesting thing, JSK. Do you go with the same defensive line you started against Bayern, because Ake on one side and Akanji on the right hand side, with Stones coming in from centre back with the Diaz. Because the thing is, Bayern didn't have slow wingers, right? Bayern had Sunny, Bayern had Koeman, Bayern had in a way Sadio Mane played there for a while. So Nabry was playing for Bayern. So that will be interesting, because they had pace and City dealt with pace well. But the interesting thing which City did in the first leg against Bayern was, we did not allow Ake and Akanji to go forward. Ake slightly went forward, ever so slightly, but Akanji never went forward. He was always back, back, and back. I think if you follow that strategy, to be fair, just tell Ake and Akanji to be back, that's all. Then I think suddenly you remove that element of pace from Rodrigo, remove that element of pace from Vinicius Junior, right? So I think it depends on the instructions. It depends on what Pep will do with the tie, because first leg is away from home, second leg is at the Etihad. So what score line would you prefer from the Bernabeu? Would you prefer a draw, 1-1, 2-2, or does Pep want to win at the Bernabeu? So there are a lot of intricate subplots that are there in that Real Madrid game. But I think if you play Kyle Walker, the problem there is, I mean, Kyle Walker doesn't have a good out ball. What Akanji did well against Bayern is, he took the ball and Akanji switches the ball well diagonally, and also Akanji plays the ball well down the channel. With, for example, your Bernardo to attack. So does Kyle Walker have it in him? That's something interesting, because the last thing you'd want is you'd want to be bogged down. But again, Real Madrid are different to Bayern Munich, so it will be very interesting, the subplots, the way, and all. And also another thing is, in the second leg, Bayern were sort of Tuchel was sort of tactically exploiting that John Stones moving into the midfield. See, every system has its deficiencies and every system has its pluses. So I think we got exploited a bit, especially with John Stones. That space, both Koeman and Sané were coming inside, so the overload on the midfield was happening too much against Bayern. So I actually think Pep will have to address it. Pep will have to address it. But I think we have another final before that. We have a final against Arsenal at the Etihad. How do you feel about that game at the Etihad, guys, against Arsenal? Do you think that game at the Etihad is a must-win for us, or do you think a draw is sufficient as well? Vinay says, just don't remind me of Jesus and Sterling finishing. They do not read. It was almost a through ball to Haaland. Almost found Haaland. They don't read. The worst thing about the finishing of Jesus and Sterling is they don't need any remembrance. Some events are, so I won't use traumatic, but they just shake you up so much that you just can't forget them. how Gabriel Jesus messed up against Lyon, how Sterling missed chance against Champions League final against Chelsea, and all of those things. Lot of things. How Sterling kept the title race alive last season when against Southampton. Remember last season, January, I think, against Southampton. Sterling had an open goal, he missed it, and we drew and we dropped points there, and that reignited the confidence of Liverpool. Jack Grealish, they're doubling up on Jack Grealish. Ah, that's a corner for City, but Sheffield United are like defending so deep. It's gonna be difficult. JSK says Walker over Akanji. It depends. I think JSK. I personally have a feeling that Pep will go with Walker at the Bernabeu, and I think at the Etihad Pep will go with Akanji. Because Akanji himself is, I mean, I can't compare the pace of anyone with Walker in our team, but Akanji himself is not slow. And Akanji's reading of the game is better than Walker. He plays his game much more in the mind, so his positions are generally better than Walker. The positions he takes up, Akanji's ability to start and attack fast, those kind of things could be pivotal against Real Madrid actually, because I think Akanji balances attack and defense better than Walker. Walker is an excellent, is probably one of the best 1v1 defenders in the world still. That was close, but he's hit another corner. Akanji was down there. It's an injury to his head. Vinay says, what about we play defend and counter? I think playing defend and counter, not a bad idea, not a bad idea, but I think against Madrid, I think it's better not to invite them on, because once you invite Madrid on, you certainly don't want people like Modric, Cruz, Benzema, Rodrigo making those subtle runs inside the box, all of them camping on the edge of your box, right? So instead of that, I think we just play a natural game in the first leg. I think we sit back in the tie. I think we'll be done. Especially at the starting of the game. Okay, you're 2-0 up, 3-0 up, you want to shut the game down, that's a different story. But I don't think we can pay too much respect to Real Madrid. We just go there and play our own game. Vinay says Vinny and Rodrigo are one level above Bay and Wingers. I know that. I know that JSK they're above one level, but you know again they're above one level when they're given space to run in behind. See Chelsea, how did Rodrigo score those two goals second leg against Chelsea? Lot of space to run in behind. I think if you for example gave Sané and Koeman that kind of space to run in behind, I think even they would do similar kind of a damage. So actually think identification of those spaces will be very interesting in that Real Madrid game. The way you can shut down those spaces, and also last semi-final last season, you know, how did Vinicius score that goal? Fernandinho jumps in, for example, if you remember. There was space, no one was marking him for his last goal in extra time, in injury time. So I actually think what happened there? Erling Haaland has the ball in his net. Erling Haaland has the ball in Sheffield United's net. Did the referee blow? Did the referee blow there? Haaland had the ball in his net. I think the referee had actually blown. That's why the goal is not given. Vinicius win at Etihad kill their hope. That is true. That is absolutely true, Vinay. Because once we win at the Etihad, I think we never say never in football until the last minute. But I think their hope will be over once we win at the Etihad. But I think we as City we take it game by game. Sheffield United are having the ball in some dangerous positions here. It just seems that they're dominating us down the flanks there with. Good take by Ortega. JS Cousins, and this time the defense is shit. Only need to beat Courtois. Just as Liverpool fans, JSK only need to beat Courtois. Even against Chelsea, I mean, in the Chelsea game, no one talks about it, but in the second leg, I think Chelsea carved out at least two point blank range chances. Cucurella had an open goal almost, and Golo Kante just had Courtois to beat. So Chelsea carved out two chances, two, three chances at least in that second leg. If Chelsea had a good finisher, I think there was a comeback on there. But Real Madrid has been like this, right? Real Madrid, especially in these times, in the last 2 3 years, the defense has not been the most solid one. But Modric, Cruz, the way they can keep the ball when they think the game is just going out of their bounds, and suddenly bring Benzema into into the place interesting. There was something. I think it was. I don't remember. Was it Ruud Gullit? I think Ruud Gullit or some ex-player actually said this about Real Madrid. They said that Real Madrid, they force you into a false sense of security. You feel that you're dominating the game. You feel that you're having all the shots on goal, and then bang bang, they hit two goals. That's all, and you suddenly seem that you're out of the game. You just even don't know what has happened there. So I think that is something we need to be careful of. We need to have perfect 180 minutes, 190 minutes with injury time since it's Real Madrid. City are slowly getting into the groove. It's not a free kick, ref. I don't know what this ref is doing. He's giving a free kick to Sheffield United there when Gundogan had. Yes, he had fairly won the ball, Gundogan. I don't know what this ref is doing. Vinicius Militao will miss first leg Alaba injury. I think they're gonna miss Eder Militao more, Vinay, because Eder Militao plays those balls into Vinicius Junior, for example. I think one of their problems will be because if I'm not wrong, Alaba is left-footed and Eder Militao is right-footed, right? So now if both miss, one of their problems could be that they'll have Rudiger and Nacho coming in, and both Nacho and Rudiger are left-footed. So I think that could probably affect the balance a bit. I think that would be interesting to see how it plays out. JS Kasis Etihad, we are undefeatable no matter who is it. I just don't want to jinx it, JSK. Let us see how that Arsenal tie goes. But what a week we have had as City fans, right? Last 2 weeks, Liverpool did us a favor, West Ham did us a favor, Southampton did us a favor, two relegation based sides did us a favor. I mean, before last week, when we had just compared that fixture running between Arsenal and City, and we were marking out they'll take full points here, they'll take full points here. I think more 99% of people had Arsenal taking full points at West Ham, and that too, West Ham had a European game, a difficult European game away midweek, and then they played Arsenal. So everyone had West Ham taking Arsenal taking full points of West Ham. Everyone had Arsenal taking full points of Southampton. Football is such a crazy game, unpredictable game. You can never know what can happen. Good ball back Angie to switch it. I don't know why, but we're not able to connect better with our attack. Our midfield and attack is just not able to connect better. JS is, by the way, Courtois has Erling Haaland against him this time. That is true. That is true. That is true. That matchup will be very interesting. Haaland will need to be at his absolute. I mean, most of the time is at his absolute best. But I think it is in games like this later stages of Champions League knockout competitions where Haaland absolutely needs to be sharp. We haven't created anything in this game. 20 minutes gone. What do you guys think about the game that's going on? Because we have not created anything till now. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. What a ball that is in between the lines, but we're not. Alvarez makes a good run, but we're not able to create anything. The link between defense and attack has been poor actually. That's a good ball out wide. Riyad Mahrez, his first touch is always excellent. They're blocking off any balls into the box. Ah! I thought that was a corner, but referee's given a goal kick, I think. But what a shot that was from Riyad Mahrez. Wasn't far away. It was actually very far away, and I don't see any deflection as well. Maybe a slight one, but that's a good angle from for Riyad Mahrez. He has to do things better. Just give it to Ortega. Just give it to Ortega. Gundogan does well. Sheffield United are a bit open now. Jack Grealish. That's a good save. That's a good save and a good shot. We're starting to at least test the Sheffield United goalkeeper now. That is better. Very good shot from Julian Alvarez over there. I think was anyway going out, but the goalkeeper could not have taken any chances. The change in the corner taker. That's a foul. Jack Grealish does well to protect the ball. I think we need to be a little bit more quicker in the attack. But then I know the kind of sapping matches we have played against Bayern, and it wasn't an easy run in the last 2 weeks. Southampton fighting for their lives, Bayern Munich two legs, and then Leicester who are fighting for their lives as well. It's not an easy matchup when you play those teams at the bottom when they're literally fighting for their lives. It's almost like they're fighting for against a 50% rejection in the wages. If they go down, that's how much of a difference it is. They're fighting for jobs being cut at the football club if the club goes down. That's what they're fighting for. Never easy to play against relegation teams, especially at this time of the season. That's a good ball. That's a good ball. That's a throw in, I think, to City. We need to score the first goal in this. It is essential. Absolutely essential. Riyad Mahrez with the free kick. Good defending by Sheffield United, and it's a corner for City. We're slowly getting into the game, but we need to score first. That's absolutely prime in this game. The Wembley pitch, it's a big pitch, but Sheffield United are spreading themselves back Back three, find the midfield and actually defending it well. That's a poor corner. It's a piss poor corner. That's a goal kick for Sheffield United. The game is just turning out to be so much more tricky than what a lot of City fans might have actually expected. What a lot of neutrals might have actually expected. Need to score first in this game. That is absolutely prime. That's why I mean you can see the importance of scoring first in this game. I think Pep has seen it. That's why he started Haaland. Otherwise, that's a good counter by City. City are on the break now. Not exactly a counter, but City are on the break. At least there's space to run into. That's a corner for City. Our set pieces need to be better. Our set pieces need to be much better. This round, the semi-final, has been a curse. Like Bayaji pointed out at the starting, it's been a curse for 3 4 years. So that's just booted out. Sheffield United are defending well. I won't say they're defending for their lives or stuff, but they're actually defending very well. We have been taking a few risks playing out from the back, but Sheffield United are not just sitting back. Two strikers at the start, they're pressing our centre backs high. The passing has actually been good. They're trying to play through our press. So this is going to be very interesting. That's a nasty foul on Sergio Gomez by Baldock, and that has to be a yellow card. Ref, that has to be a yellow card. That has to be a yellow card. No, I think it's the final warning by the ref to Baldock. But I thought that was a yellow card. If it was a City player, I bet you it would have been a yellow card. Close to half an hour being gone and nil. We have not card out our opening yet. There's no space to play through, and I think Pep needs to change the system around a bit. We are not playing in our usual system, I think. Free at the back and stuff. I think it's in these kind of games you miss Rodri a lot because of the physicality he brings about. Gundogan is very good, technically excellent on the ball, but DM position, that physicality, especially against these teams, it's so important. What the hell was Bernardo Silva trying to do there? Just play in someone, mate. Pep Guardiola, they're seemingly not looking happy. Stefan Ortega, that's a foul, and whenever Ortega is having the ball, I'm getting a bit tense because of the mistakes goalkeepers have been making this week. De Gea, Ramsdale. Then Ortega is a level above them in terms of passing out from the back end stuff. Switch it, switch it, switch it, switch it. This Mahrez is free. I don't know why he's taking so much time. That's a corner. Kyle Walker's just not able to put in good enough crosses. He's having so much time there. He's just not able to put in good enough crosses. Erling Haaland's not even got a single chance. When you don't create chances for your striker, it doesn't matter who you have up front. Not a single chance for Erling Haaland to shoot. The one chance he shot was a goal, but then the referee already blew up there for a foul. That's a corner for City. Sheffield United are defending the centre of the box extremely well. I don't know how Pep will break it. It's half an hour gone. It's actually 2 minutes past. Half an hour gone today. Riyad Mahrez. That's booted up by Sheffield United. Back to Stefan Ortega. City have defended well, I would say, to this point. But then attacking wise, we just need to create more chances. Especially with Erling Haaland in there. I think we need to get Sergio Gomez more on the ball. The time and space is with our fullbacks out wide, and that's excellently done by Erling Haaland in there, and it's Jack Grealish. Go back and defend, go back and defend. That's excellent defensive work over there. The game has almost gone end to end now. It's almost like it's bursting into life. It's going end to end. Bernardo Silva with the ball, but the work done there by Erling Haaland was excellent previously. That's the part of his game which is actually progressing and developing very well, I would say. Bernardo Silva, sorry, Jack Grealish, Sergio Gomez, Jack Grealish. Please, can someone find Riyad Mahrez who's standing all by himself out wide? Yes, Gundogan has the brains, but the cross is just wide. Create something. Test the bloody goalkeeper from inside the box. They're showing the save from Ortega. Very good save early on. He actually had a good FA Cup run, I would say, against Chelsea, against Liverpool. He's done some good saves. Kyle Walker thought he's inside his opposite winger, but it's not. Julian Alvarez, Jack Grealish. Someone bloody offer him support, yes. They're just covering up Erling Haaland. That's very well won there by Sergio Gomez, Gundogan. Gomez is having a good game, by the way. Gundogan, Aymeric Laporte. Bernardo Silva, Sergio Gomez, Erling Haaland, Aymeric Laporte, Sergio Gomez, Ilkay Gundogan. That was good by Bernardo Silva. He dared to take the ball into the box. It's actually Julian Alvarez. He dared to take the ball into the box, try to dribble his way through. Jack Grealish, Jack giving the ball away, but good covering by Aymeric Laporte. Anya Akanji. Interesting that Sheffield United are having two strikers high always. Bernardo Silva. Ilkay Gundogan switch it. Just keep the ball, patiently rotate the ball, recycle the ball. That's it. Draw Sheffield United out. Ah, Sheffield are defending absolutely well. They're defending very well, I would say. 37 minutes gone. And Sheffield United have a chance to put the ball into the box. It's almost robbed the ball over there. I think Riyad Mahrez. It was a 2v3 if he got the ball there. The game has opened up suddenly in the last 5-6 minutes. Kyle Walker. That's a great take from Bernardo Silva. And it's a City throw. That's good defending from Sheffield. City are just accelerating a bit towards the end. That's a free kick for City. That's a free kick for City. We have to make the most of this free kick. Sometimes when you can't break teams down in the normal way, in the traditional way, in the way that generally works for you, I think we need to take this free kick. I think Mahrez will take it. A left footer, it's much more favorable for a left footer to take this. No, it's going to be the right foot of Gundogan. Is it a penalty? Referee has given a penalty here. Referee has given a penalty here. Yes, his tripped Bernardo Silva over there. He's clearly tripped Bernardo Silva over there. That's a penalty. That's a penalty. Ref has pointed to the spot. It has to be Erling Haaland who takes it. Guys, why is Erling Haaland not taking the penalty? Can someone tell me? What is happening there? Why the hell is Riyad Mahrez taking the penalty? I just can't understand this. I can't even watch it. Why the hell is Riyad Mahrez taking the penalty? I can't even watch this. You better score, Riyad. Why can't Erling Haaland take the penalty? He scores! Thankfully, he scores. Thankfully, Riyad Mahrez scores. But Vinay, were you, uh, what to say, were you afraid, were you fearful when Mahrez put the ball down? Because I thought Haaland should have taken it. What? I mean, if Mahrez missed, it would just have been an outpour on him. I was damn scared when Riyad Mahrez took the ball. I was so scared when Mahrez took the ball. Exactly, Vinay. I don't know why no Haaland. He's at 46, 47 goals. I just don't know. I don't know. And it would have given him a boost as well, I think, Erling Haaland from that penalty miss in Germany. But honestly, those both of those penalties in Germany were, they were trash. And you almost got a feeling with that penalty miss in Germany that Haaland almost told Ortega, can you please clear it? Bloody hell! Why do we want to play inside our box, play a mini game of football inside our box? I'll never understand. This has been happening for 4, 5 years. Always we are damn scared of playing inside the box, but always City does it so well. This has almost become like a habit. We are frustrated, we are angry that even though opposition is pressing hard, we do that, but City somehow manage to do it most of the time. Yeah, but it almost seemed on reflection after the game that Haaland almost thought, I will not score. Ah, was it offside? Yeah, I think yeah, it was offside anyway. So almost thought that Haaland with the penalty miss almost give a message to everyone that I'm not interested in scoring goals of some crappy decisions, crappy penalty. No. It's almost close to half time. It's almost close to half time. 2 minutes of added time. Just boot it up the field long and hard. It's almost close to half time, guys. This could just be the worst time to concede. Jack Grealish takes the ball. Can he play Haaland through? There's a ball to play Haaland through, but ignores it. Was it Jack Grealish who's limping? I don't know. Aymeric Laporte. Riyad Mahrez. Kyle Walker. That's a City throw. I think this should be this. 10 more seconds remaining, and I think that should be half time. And that's half time. Referee has blown. I would say a well competed half for both the teams. Sheffield United defended compactly. They defended the middle of the goal very well. They defended the middle of the D box, the penalty box, absolutely well. And they just did not allow the crosses to come in. Haaland was mostly out of the game. Not his fault. He tried his best, coming in field, helping us out in the press, helping us out take the ball. Haaland tried everything, but it's just that we couldn't create many chances for Haaland. It was an even game up until the penalty, I think. I mean, I won't say that we were lucky and stuff for the penalty, but what I would say is we were already kind of dominating that game for 5-10 minutes. I'll just come. We were already dominating that game for 5 to 10 minutes roughly. Before that penalty happened, we were the last 5 minutes where we were having ball at the edge of the penalty box, at the edge of Sheffield's penalty box. We were passing the ball from one corner to another, but it's just that we were not able to get the final pass through. They were just doubling up on Jack Grealish. Kyle Walker was the one who they were affording space in. Walker, is not a De Bruyne or a Mahrez or someone like that to put the ball into the box, right? The only surprising thing for me today is Mahrez taking the penalty. Bayaji says Walker's crossing sucks. Exactly, Bayaji. That's the thing. That's why they've left him with all the space. And that's why I think sometimes Pep says, not sometimes, Pep has said recently that Walker probably does not fit into this system. And that's true, that's very true. His defending is excellent. He's 1v1 defending, but attacking wise, he just offers you nothing. His crossing and just offers you nothing. The only thing he can offer you is he can burst with that pace forward, which means he'll drag another player away, which means that will create more space for others. But apart from that, Walker given time and space, I don't know. I'm a bit confused here actually in the transfer window. I'm thinking, do we need to even go for a right back in the transfer window? I know we're playing the system where Akanji, Pep has four centre backs at the back, but I do think we actually need to go for a right back as well along with a left back. The transfer window is going to be interesting because there are at least four positions we need to fill: a left back, a winger, a fast-paced winger, and a midfielder who's Gundogan's replacement. By the way, what do you guys think about Kovacic as being linked to Matteo Kovacic? 30 million pounds is the price being quoted. What do you guys think about that? Would you like Kovacic to replace Gundogan? I think there are two players whom we are actually getting next season for sure. One is Kovacic and one is Jude Bellingham. Now, I do not know what that will do to the future of Calvin Phillips. You could say that he's Rodri's understudy, but is not yet adapted to Pep system at all. So I don't know what will happen to Calvin Phillips, and I do not know which position Jude Bellingham will play. Because right now, with the kind of system we are going in, it's almost like a 3-2-2-3 up front, right? 3 is the back 3, 2 is Stones and Rodri, for example, and then the other 2 is Gundogan and De Bruyne. See, this is where it gets interesting for me. Do you see Kovacic and De Bruyne playing there, or do you see a Jude Bellingham and De Bruyne playing there? That is the point. I think we're bringing Jude Bellingham in not to play the role he's playing at Dortmund, not to be that box to box midfielder, to be an attacking midfielder, to play the role which Gundogan was actually uh, playing at playing for us. But I'm actually struggling to see where does Kovacic fit in this, because Mateo Kovacic Mateo Kovacic is not someone who makes those attacking runs. Vinay says, I'm not watching the game. Who's the standout player till half time? Honestly, Vinay, no one is a standout player till half time. It's been Sheffield United defending back, very narrow, defending the entire width of the box, and us trying to break them down. The crosses have all been cut off. Nothing wrong with the quality of the crosses, but it's just Sheffield United play with the five in the midfield and three at the back. So they are like almost doubling up on Grealish, doubling up on Mahrez. No space for Bernardo to run into, no space for Grealish. Sorry, Alvarez to run into Haaland. Haaland literally had zero service. Haaland inside the penalty area, I don't even think he's had one touch in open play. That's how compact Sheffield were. The only person who they gave time and space on the ball is Kyle Walker. You know what the funny thing is? They actually they did not even bother to single up on Kyle Walker. Even if Kyle Walker had the ball out wide, they doubled up on Riyad Mahrez, who the person did not have the ball. Kyle Walker crossing was just it wasn't good at all. And Ma and Riyad Mahrez taking the penalty was a surprise for me. And one thing different is his penalty style has changed. Generally, Mahrez tries to blast it into one of the top corners and stuff. Now he's trying to hit it low. And what happened in the last match? Erling Haaland blasted the penalty high with power. I just hope that both have not exchanged their respective styles of taking the penalty. That would absolutely suck. Vinay says Phillips is gone. I think imagine Rice instead of Stones. That would be a dream, Vinay. That would be a dream. Declan Rice playing that role would just be a dream. Declan Rice. Declan Rice would just be fantastic. I mean, nothing wrong with John Stones as well. Defense attack, but Declan Rice, honestly, I think coming into that midfield because he's been a centre back as well previously. I think Declan Rice would probably take you a level up with respect to his passing and stuff. But I don't think we're going to get Declan Rice and Jude Bellingham in the same transfer window. That's just not going to happen, I think. But again, Kovacic is an interesting one for me. I still don't know where does Kovacic fit, because he's not a Gundogan. Like I was saying, he doesn't make his runs into the box. He's someone who's unpressable, who's a passing machine. But we have Rodri for that. I mean, I'm thinking if you have Kovacic, wouldn't it make us much more defensive rather than having that progressive passing forward? I probably think if we get Kovacic, Calvin Phillips is gone then. Bayaji says need more shooting and crosses. Don't need crosses from Walker, Bayaji. We, I mean, they are so sure that Walker is shit at crossing that they're not even bothering to mark him. If you see, even if Walker has the ball, they're marking Riyad Mahrez. I think we need to give Sergio Gomez is actually playing in the midfield, but what I would like to see is Sergio Gomez uh, going out wide and actually putting a few crosses in. Sergio Gomez crossing will be fantastic. Vinay says Stones has fitness issue. That is true. That is true. Vinay Stones has fitness issues. Thankfully he's fit now. Thankfully he's fit. I just want him to be fit for the rest of the run in. That's all. We just can't afford any injuries. By the way, in the worst case scenario, if Nathanaake is unavailable for Arsenal, who do you guys think will play at left back for us? Because that is something that is such an important position, especially against Arsenal, right? Because Saka will be playing over there, and last two times in the FA Cup and at the Emirates as well, Nathanaake had Saka in his pocket, so. Ake has actually been very good 1v1s. He's had Kingsley Coman and Kingsley Coman and Leroy Sané exchanged wings. So unable to go 1v1 past Saka in the first leg. In the second leg it was a different thing. So So I actually think it will be interesting to see. I don't fancy Laporte playing against Saka actually, because Laporte doesn't have pace playing against Saka. I mean, what do you do in that situation if Ake is not fit? There's no fitness report coming in on Nathan Ake. Pep has said in his Sheffield United in this match pre-match press conference that we will see when the final report comes. It's not yet come, but I don't know. I've just been thinking even yesterday. What do we do with that conundrum? Do you place who do you play over there? I mean, the realistic choices are, if you look at, there are only two in a traditional sense. If Ake is not available, in a traditional sense, Sergio Gomez can play there and Aymeric Laporte can play there. Sergio Gomez is out of question, against Bakayo Saka. It's just not possible. And seeing Pep playing Gomez in the midfield today, I don't think Pep fancies Sergio Gomez in the midfield position. And the next thing is Laporte. I don't think you can put in Laporte against Bakayo Saka 1v1 with the pace and acceleration Saka has. So I actually think there are so I actually think there are only two I mean, there is one choice. I think honestly, if Ake is not available against Arsenal, you play Akan. I know this seems silly, but you play Akanji at left back, and you play Kyle Walker at right back. I think that those are the only two realistic options, and tell Akanji to just stay back. Just think that those are the only realistic options we have if Ake is not available. Jesus Walker is not ready against Real Madrid. It's expected. A bit of rustiness is expected from Walker JSK. Even against against Bayern match, again like late on, Sadio Mane had gone beyond Walker a couple of times in that match. Actually, if you look at it late on, so Walker was rusty in that Bayern second leg, and Walker's been a little. I mean, defensively, he's been all right. I think Walker attacking wise. I actually think if you want to get the best out of Kyle Walker, I think what you tell is, I think Real Madrid thing will be different because Pep will have instructions of Walker be like, do not allow Vinicius Junior to score a goal 1v1, to defend well against Vinicius Junior. I think when Walker has those sort of instructions, Walker is deadly. Walker is very good. But when you give multiple instructions to Walker at come in field, overlap, cross, all of those things, I actually don't think Walker is that good at executing those technical instructions. So I think Walker is ready if the main aim is to contain Rodrigo, contain Vinicius Junior and stuff. Vinicius Junior for Walker in this case. So, and also I think we have Arsenal midweek, we have Fulham away, and then we have Real Madrid. I think is it? Yeah, I actually think we have a couple of games to go before Real Madrid. Just so Ake is back, then the games are coming just thick and fast. A lot of games to play, and thankfully our squad is fit. Unlike the last time, you remember it was a bloody game, blood, bruises, everything was there against Atletico Madrid. You know what the hilarious thing this week was? The hilarious thing this week was watching Manchester United walk down to Sevilla, bottle it against Sevilla. That too in such a manner, right? Harry Maguire uh, unable to pass the ball. David De Gea selling them down the river. And there was a time when a lot of United fans were putting David De Gea ahead of Edison in their combined 11s. And they bloody can't get past Sevilla. Bayaji's FA Cup semi-finals always pops up at the wrong time. It's just fixture congestion. Bayaji, it's just fixture congestion. That is why they say, winning the treble is as difficult as it can get. I mean, even if you look at Manchester United's 1999 treble winning side, if you look at their FA Cup semi final, there was Lot of luck involved. 93rd minute, I think, Arsenal get a penalty in that match. Literally the last kick of the game, Arsenal get a penalty. And I think it was Dennis Bergkamp who misses the penalty. I mean, it was saved by Van der Sar, I think. Van der Sar or Schmeichel, I don't remember. It was saved by the goalkeeper. Extra time, Ryan Giggs scores a solo goal. They win the FA Cup. They were done and out of the Champions League final that year, 99. 1-0 for 91 minutes, thoroughly outplayed by Bayern Munich. They almost started to carve Bayern Munich's name literally on the Champions League trophy. Then two goals in a minute. They say, I mean, if you're a fan of United, you would say team spirit and all, but again, just look at how close of a margins United had that season to win it all, to win the treble. 9 out of 10 times those results would not have happened. 9.5 out of 10 times, Burkamp would have scored that penalty. Last kick of the game, United out of the FA Cup 9.5 out of 10 times. Bayern Munich would have held on to that 1-0 lead. So lot of things have to go your way if you have to actually plead everything. But at least we're competing for it. We're competing for it. That's the good thing. JSK says Bayern bottle the league too. By the way, I've just seen a headline of that. JSK means they defeated them, but let us see if Dortmund actually takes the chance because last week as well, right? Last week I was more interested in them because we had an away leg at their ground. They drew against Hoffenheim. I think Dortmund lost their match, so I would not be surprised if it's two managerial sackings at Bayern Munich this season. But yeah, this is Dortmund should thank City for derailing Bayern and giving concession on Jude signing. Bayern were taken aback by the way we played them at the Etihad. No, until that Etihad thing, Bayern had that belief, okay, the league was not going, but they were sort of getting into form a bit. But the way we, just put it past them at the Etihad, they just could not do anything with that. It was a heavy metal blow for Bayern Munich at the Etihad. Not just for Bayern Munich, it was also a message. That win at the Etihad has so much more. Messages to the footballing world than just a 3-0 win in a Champions League quarter-final stage. It was a message that we are at the Etihad. We haven't lost a Champions League game in the last 3, 4, 5 years there. We dare Bayern or any other team to come here and do what they can. It is a message sent out that we've almost finally arrived in the Champions League in this competition. 3 semis in a row is not a joke. JSK says, by the way, Stefan Ortega should play against Madrid. Keep the spirit up, JSK. Keep that spirit up because whenever you have that spirit, Edison seems to be doing better and better and better. Against Bayern, he was sensational, and it's your spirit, it's you calling Edison out that has lifted him, I think. At least at Bernabeu, if it gets out of the Edison, then best out of Edison, then yeah, we can support Ortega for that. Vinay says Pep Edison in goal no matter what. JSK says Edison as Pep's news. That's why. Shh, JSK, you're letting some of Pep's secrets out. If you know that secret, I think probably you could just have a chat with Pep. I think he will put you in goal. Next match against Real Madrid, it will be a surprise for us. Who's in goal? Not Edison, not even Ortega. Our JSK is standing in goal for City. Now we know the secret how to play at goal for City. Vinay says Pep got rid of Hart and got Edison. Exactly the same thing that Ten Hag was not able to do with David De Gea. I know the United fan base wanted David De Gea there, but clearly you could see that David De Gea. I mean, United fans say they've improved passing out. David De Gea has improved passing out from the back and stuff. But if you actually see, one of the things about these goalkeepers is you can play out from the back is the first touch. First touch needs to be immaculate, especially when the balls hit to them over the top and stuff. De Gea's first touch was atrocious. And just on the other end of the penny, if you just see what Ederson did against Bayern Munich, he did a feint against Coman. I think it was in the first half. He just did a feint against Coman. All of our hearts stopped for a bit. Then that is Ederson. That is the difference. In your Ederson, even Allison, I'll put it. Though Allison makes a lot more mistakes than Ederson, but just tell that Allison and Ederson are just on another level. Willis does extremely well there. Sheffield United are pressing high. Stefan Ortega. First touch of Stefan Ortega is also actually very good. Erling Haaland does extremely well carrying the ball. Riyad Mahrez tried to do a few shimmies over there. He had two defenders on toast. That is wonderful to see Riyad Mahrez do those sort of skills. I think there had to be a cross in there. I think we just took too long over there. JS says I will use it to put Ortega over Ederson. You can actually do a much more hilarious thing, JSK. You can use it to put Scott Carson over both Ederson and Ortega. That would be superb. Scott Carson making his Champions League debut for City against Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. Jack Grealish. City are now camping on the edge of Sheffield United box. Jack Grealish. I think we need the second goal for sure. I don't know why the hell Kyle Walker is blasting from 30, bloody from 1 kilometer out. JSK says Joe Hart's footwork was as shite as De Gea, to be honest. That is true, that is true. Even this guy's footwork was not that good, right? Last season we had, he cost us the FA Cup semi-final. US men's team goalkeeper, who is he? I just can't remember his name. His shot stopping was kind of good, but his play with the feet was not good at all. So that was again a set piece. Sheffield United goalkeeper has the ball. Need to be very careful of the long balls from Sheffield United. That is very well won there. And City's pressing shape is much better in this half. Exactly, that is true. That is true. When Mahrez just does one shimmy too many, actually, he doesn't need to do that. I mean, even if I think the first instinct of Riyad Mahrez is actually to go for the shot rather than cross. And I think he tries his best to carve out space by shimmying and dribbling to take a shot. And when he realizes shot is not possible, that is when I think he tries to cross it. Vinay says Haaland is waiting for any ball in the box. Zero touches for Haaland in the box from open play this match. That's a corner for City. That's a corner for City. I just can't believe it. Zero touches for Erling Haaland. I mean, you can give credit to Sheffield United that they have defended him well, but Haaland has also come out into the middle to help City carry the ball and stuff. So Haaland is developing as well. There will be these games when opponent will just try to block everything that comes into you. That is as sight a set piece as you'll I think see from Riyad Mahrez. in the last 10-15 years, I think. I know back then in 10-15 years he was playing under nines, under tens, but it's just a shite set piece. I don't know what that set piece was. Riyad Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez again with space. You have to cut in now. You have to cut in, Riyad. That's another corner for City. But Riyad Mahrez has so much space. You know, one unique thing about Riyad Mahrez, Bernardo was doing this show with Man City TV. They do these shows, and Bernardo Silva was doing this show of who has got the first best first touch in at City, and he put Riyad Mahrez above himself as well in the best first touch. Riyad Mahrez with the set piece. I hope it's going to be good this time. But it's shot again. Yeah. So one thing Bernardo Silva told about the first touch of Riyad Mahrez is Riyad Mahrez has this unique ability of he takes the first touch and at the same time he goes on to triple as well. That's so he creates that opening far easily than others. That was a very interesting insight. By the way, you know who was in there were tiers like S, Super, A, B, C, grades in terms of the levels of who has the first best first touch, and you know who was in grade C? It was Edison. And Edison's first touch is very good. So you can imagine the level of technicality at City with these players. Bernardo Silva dropping back to take the ball. That's a free kick. That's a foul on Julian Alvarez over there. He was just holding Julian Alvarez in the box. You just cannot do that. Manuel Akanji, you just need to score another goal over here. Bernardo Silva, Riyad Mahrez with space. Sergio Gomez. Haaland almost pounced onto that. But just look at the pouncing ability of Erling Haaland over there. That was just fantastic. It is just not to be for Erling Haaland, but what a striker this man is. What a striker you are. You think of beauty, Erling. I don't see Pep taking Erling Haaland off today until we get the second goal, I think. Stefan Ortega does well to clear it. That is extremely well done by Jack Grealish. Riyad Mahrez again in space. Kyle Walker overlapping. What the hell? It was Julian Alvarez. I can't go too much on him. Again, why are we trying shots from outside the box when you have Erling Haaland with you? Just create something for him inside the box. He's in such a hot streak of goal scoring form. Daniel Jepson goes off and Oliver McBurney comes on. I think we just need to sit back a little bit more rather than just go for that high press, because Sheffield United are literally looking for second balls, and then they're trying to play a header down and then a second ball to the striker, I think. That's well caught by Stephen Ortega over there. We need to be careful of that. They're just using the same approach as Nottingham Forest. Stephen Ortega, Bernardo Silva, Erling Haaland does well there. Stephen Ortega, just pass it to your right, Ortega. Erling Haaland there in space. That's well collected there by Julian Alvarez, Jack Grealish, and it's gone out. It's gone out for a Sheffield United goal kick. Grealish is not having the best of his games, to be fair. That's very well done. That's very well dropped there. Erling Haaland is free. Erling Haaland is free. And that's a goal. That's a goal. Riyad Mahrez scores. It's the second for Riyad Mahrez. Riyad, is that game set match? I mean, the thing there was Riyad Mahrez and Erling Haaland on his left, Julian Alvarez on his right. Almost the best striker in the world on one side, the top five striker in the world on the other side. And he ignores both and he goes for goal himself. That's just fantastic from Riyad Mahrez over there. And I think that was the right decision. That was the right decision, I think. The angle would have been tough for Erling Haaland. Riyad Mahrez. The defenders were terrified of Riyad Mahrez. They did not know whether to go inside or outside because he could go both ways. It's done. It's done. I mean, not the match, but the goal. See, for me, a football match is never done until the final whistle. What a goal from Riyad Mahrez. What a way to get Riyad Mahrez into form. That's just fantastic. Don't concede a goal now. Don't bloody concede a goal now right after you have scored. That's a goal kick for City. That's well defended. They're targeting our left hand side. They're targeting our left hand side. This is their right hand side. Because I think Laporte doesn't have as much pace as Walker, so they know they can get more purchase. Vinay says Haaland dummy. They were so scared, Vinay, of Haaland that Haaland literally took one or two defenders against them. The defenders there had a choice to make. If two of them, I mean, one was covering Mahrez, but then two were covering Haaland, and one was covering, I think, Alvarez, who ran on the other side. So the defender had a choice to make, to be with Haaland or to come on and double up on Mahrez. But I think anyway it would have been suicide. If they came up to double up on Mahrez, he would have passed to Haaland and Haaland would have finished it. So, but the pinch there was superb from Riyad Mahrez. That press. And by the way, guys, Vinicius Mares just had a free run, and the run was also fantastic. With two of the world's best strikers running either side of him. But then again, Haaland's work rate in this game, Haaland's reading of the game is. I mean, if you compare it from start of the season when there were games, not just the start of the middle phase of the season, when there were games when Haaland was not getting the service, we were not doing anything. It's been fantastic the way he's progressed. He's learned which positions to occupy, when to present himself to the goalkeeper, when to present himself as an output for a pass, and when to go on and occupy the box. It's just been fantastic. Haaland's all-round play has just been superb in this match. His is just, why are we overplaying it here? But how good is Stefan Ortega's playing out from the back been today? He's the spare man and he's played out from the press absolutely very well. Ortega's been superb. They have tried to press Ortega. It just wasn't possible. I mean, sometimes people ask me, especially rival fans, they not ask me, they tell me that whenever I tell them Stefan Ortega is in the top five in the league in terms of ability on the ball and passing out from the back, they're like, you must have gone nuts. What are you talking about? I'm like, Ortega's ability on the ball is as good as Allison, for example. He's in my top three in terms of ability on the ball. It's better than Ramsdale. I'm sorry if Arsenal fans don't agree with this. Ah, Riyad Mahrez, we have camped on the edge of the box. Pep has changed it in this half. The pressing shape, the shape, in position, out of position, everything's been excellent. And that's another goal. And Riyad Mahrez hat trick. Riyad Mahrez hat trick. I mean, I was taken aback by the speed of that shot. The speed of that shot is just somewhere else. It's Riyad Mahrez, right? This camera just zoomed into the taker and I just could not see. But seeing from the way he kicked it, it had to be Riyad Mahrez. Grealish does very well to stand off two people. They're doubling up on him. The speed with which Mahrez just went in was fantastic. Yes, hat trick to Riyad Mahrez. His finishing has been sublime today, right? This finish was superb. The penalty was one of the best penalties I've seen Mahrez taken in terms of low and finding the corner. And this was a superb finish as well. I think Mahrez is actually one for Haaland. Yes, Haaland has not got his customary goal. A praise for Haaland. I know we'd be asking too much, but at least one for Haaland. This finish was interesting because generally when Mahrez takes his shots, Mahrez takes the ball, he has a little bit of a dummy, then he lines himself up to shoot. But the thing about this shot is, it was a snapshot. These are the kind of shots Haaland takes. Haaland's finishes are, why they're unique. They're one-touch finishes. Haaland's finishes. Even before the ball is dropping onto his feet, Haaland knows where it is going, where he wants it to go, which corner in the net. That is the speciality of Erling Haaland. Seems like Mahrez is learning from Erling Haaland. People are picking up knowledge of each other in the training. One-touch finish for Erling Haaland. Fantastic. So much better for us in this half. So much better. Oh, Vinay, I think Haaland is going off. I think Haaland is going off. Haaland is actually going off. Foden's coming on, and that is good news. Foden's actually fit, ready to play. The impressive thing in this half is the way we are able to lay traps and pinch the ball of Sheffield United. Because in the first half, whenever Sheffield United got that ball, you almost thought that they would do something. They were winning a lot of second balls. They were having runners. They were leaving two strikers high. They were having runners in terms of their wing backs. Grealish and Haaland substituted, and both of them have had good games, I would say. It might not reflect on the score sheet, but Riyad Mahrez is running again. Can he have a fourth? Is Kyle Walker running actually? Mahrez with the cross in. That was a bad dive in by Bernardo Silva. Aymeric. It was a bad clearance, but very well defended. Very well defended. This has been our strength. Defending back in numbers. Loss in concentration there. And almost gifting Sheffield United a goal. One thing in this knockout competitions is doesn't matter if you're playing non-league team like MK Dons or if you're playing tabletop or if you're playing a championship team. You cannot gift. I don't care who you're playing against. I don't care if you're playing against the under nines as well. You can't gift a team a goal in knockout competition. You can't have a sniff. Lesson learned the hard way against Real Madrid when everyone thought the game was done. So you can't do that. Pep would be unhappy with the sequence of play 2 minutes back. Bernardo Silva dived in. Not not having that. Not having that. Can't do that at all. Pep is telling that's what use your mind. Yes. Riyad Mahrez, sorry, Kyle Walker on the ball. The way we have built out from the back has been amazing, especially Ortega and Akanji. It's been very good. It's been very good. The kind of angles Ortega has created for everyone has been so good. See, one thing with City is we play out from the back, but we always have that spare man. Pep creates a system where you always have a spare man. If the danger is too much, you can just play to him. And one thing that differentiates probably a Ramsdale, a David De Gea from Ederson is the ability of Ederson to accurately hit that ball over the top to the winger. So if you press all of our centre backs and CDMs, Ederson is going to hit that ball to Haaland or a Grealish, and suddenly you're four, five of your players out of the game. How do you deal with that? Passing from City in and around Sheffield United's box has been sublime in the second half. It's been superb. Riyad Mahrez, Kyle Walker is offside. I think it's in a long while that I'm finally able to relax now and see a game through, because even in that Bayern second leg, even in the 85th minute, 86th minute, even in an extra time, I still could not relax. I think it's Leicester game, we obviously couldn't relax. That finale was just something else. Southampton game, probably you could relax a bit, but then you always had an eye on the week ahead and you had Bayern Munich first leg, you just did not know what would happen. So I think in quite a while, this is a kind of match where you could watch 20 minutes, just enjoy seeing City play. I mean, we enjoy it always, but without any pressure. Just watch them paint the art. That's offside, the flag's raised. It's actually handball. It's actually handball. It's not offside, it's actually handball. Kyle Walker. Ortega there. He's looked as comfortable with his feet as any of the top goalkeeper I've seen. Fantastic. His shape ball into the midfield. It's just superb. Ortega is, I think, is getting ready to challenge Ederson next season, the starting spot, and it's good actually. You can see the improvement in Ederson's performances as well. It's a free kick to Sheffield United. I think they'll take their time on it and they'll just build that wall and stuff. Vinay says, I didn't even bother to see this match. Kudos to your confidence in City, Vinay. But in the first half, it was close. In the first minute, Sheffield United had a chance, actually. It was a good save from Stefan Ortega. The first half was close, but the second half was, we're just dominating it. Wasn't an easy sailing match, but kudos, we got through it. The devil is coming in. The devil is coming in, guys. The devil is coming in, Vinay. The devil is coming in. Calvin Phillips, and he's gonna hold the midfield for us. Calvin Phillips is gonna hold the midfield for us now. Gundogan's going off, and Calvin Phillips is gonna play 16 minutes against Leicester. Look at what Calvin Phillips had done to us. He had almost made Leicester score 3 goals in the space of 5-6 minutes. Maybe this game is not over yet. Calvin Phillips coming on. Vinay says, how was Gomez today? He was neat. He was neat, Vinay. He was neat with his passing he and defensively as well. He did okay. He actually played in the midfield. Gomez actually played in the midfield. It was almost like, Pep did the inversion of what you do with John Stones at right back. It is a back three with almost at times Laporte playing at left back, Akanji in the center, Walker at the right back, and Sergio Gomez coming into the midfield. So that's what Pep did at times, and Gomez did well in the midfield actually. His passing, his tight spaces, his control. I mean, he's a La Masia product, and he was one of the top rated La Masia products. So his passing, his touch control have always been good. But I don't think he's a left back. That's actually a problem. And another problem is, who are Sheffield United's two best players? Tommy Doyle and James McAtee. And you're being uptight, they can't play this match. So literally, Sergio Gomez being good in the midfield doesn't help us because you already have James McAtee, Cole Palmer wanting to play almost. He can play in the middle. Oscar Bob coming through the academy. Tommy Doyle coming there. So literally, you have 4 or 5 prospects, and you're going to sign June Bellingham in the summer as well. So I literally have 6 prospects in the midfield for us. That is without counting KDB and Rodri. My God, where is the space in that midfield? I mean, it's in a way it's good. Sergio Gomez is good in the midfield, but I won't say it's an entirely good news for us because that midfield is just too much packed. Akanji, Laporte, Stefan Ortega. By the way, if I want to give a man of the match, of course it's Riyad Mahrez for his goals, attempts, and all, but it's Stefan Ortega for me. They have actually pressed him. They pressed Stefan Ortega hard. He didn't flinch. He once did not stop playing out from the back. Did not put a step wrong. Made a good save at the starting. Stefan Ortega was just fantastic in today's match. Calvin Phillips. Have to keep an eye on Calvin Phillips. I mean, it would be fantastic if Calvin Phillips comes good for us, because his diagonal balls, his range of passing is something which is excellent. I just hope Calvin Phillips comes good for us. Vinay says, journalist who broke out Xiomini to Real Madrid says Jude is closer to Real Madrid. I still can't believe it. I still can't believe it, Vinay, because when is the last time you saw an English player directly going in to a Spanish club without playing in an English club? Okay, he's gone to Dortmund for development, I can understand, but after that, you generally have English players would turn into English clubs, even if they want to make a move to Spain or stuff. They come back to an English stuff club, and then most of them don't leave as well. English players, who are the English players who played for Real Madrid or for Spanish giants? David Beckham was one. I don't remember many. I don't remember many at all. So, so in many aspects, I don't still believe that Real Madrid are in the driving seat. And also, we know City's business style, right? It's all quiet. Journalists report something else, and suddenly one fine night you have Tixiki being pictured with Jude Bellingham doing the sign. That's what happened with Haaland, right? That's a fantastic interception there from Sergio Gomez. What a fantastic piece of interception there from Sergio Gomez. Wonderful from Sergio Gomez. The Sheffield United player was through. I'm having a keen eye on Calvin Phillips. Vinay says, heard our officials were at Alliance. Hopefully, Vinay, hopefully what I'm thinking is true. After we defeated Bayern Munich the next day, what I did was I saw Leroy Sané's video, not in Bayern, but Leroy Sané at City in that period of, 2017 sort of to 2019 until he left. I saw that period at City and it was just so memorable, so fantastic again. Um, I just want Leroy Sané back at City. I don't know why it was so. It is kind of nostalgic. It was kind of goosebumps, seeing Pep also having that talk with Leroy Sané at the end. It was also memory down the nostalgic lane, and seeing Leroy Sané go past. I know at that time it wasn't pretty, but Leroy Sané having that first chance at 17 minutes, go past John Stones when Diaz went forward. The pace of Leroy Sané just brought you back down the memory lane to what he did at City. Vinay says, or Germany. Jude Bellingham. Are you talking about Jude Bellingham having a chance to stay at Germany? Vinay says Sane was crying, talking to Pep. That was so heartfelt. That was so heartfelt, Vinay. Pep to Sane. And just imagine. See, anyway, we have to go for a right winger, right or left winger, whatever it is. We have to go for one pacey winger. Why can't it be Sunny? Sunny, Haaland. Just look at it. Sunny, Haaland, Foden. Wow. HSF, HFS. That would just be superb. That front three would be devastating. But anyway, I think we are going to get Liao. I know there's no news on that Liao front, but I think we're just going to get Liao from AC Milan. He was asked about his future after I think he helped Milan get over Napoli, and he was telling nothing is decided yet. I think we are going to get Rafael Liao. Vinay says Jude, Endika. Endika is an interesting one, Vinay. When you said that day, I actually went up and looked at a few videos of Endika actually. They were very good. He's two-footed. Endika is almost two-footed. He's playing out from the back. His tackling was what stood out to me. His tackling, his positional awareness. His two-footedness is very interesting. Ndikas, it's very rare for defenders to actually have that. Vinay says, Liao is sick. You don't like Liao? You don't like Liao, Vinay? I don't think they're apart from Liao. What are the? Will he pass to Haaland? Ah, almost a chance for City. But that was also the issue, right? That was also the issue when Haaland came early on. It was the issue between Haaland and Foden. There were issues that passing was actually an issue, and it can be sorted out playing under Pep. I actually think it can be sorted out playing under Pep and stuff. Pep will mold Liao. I know he's a bit selfish, but then I think you have to look at the Milan team and who does he have the where are the personnel to pass to? Can he pass to Oliver Giroud or where are the personnel to pass to? I think Pep always says this. The primary reason behind a pass should be that when you're through on goal, the primary reason for a pass should be that the other player, the attacking player, is in a much better position than you. Otherwise, don't pass, shoot. I actually think Rafael has that, having that sense of mind, is difficult, and I think Rafael has that sense of mind. Rafael has that sense of, thinking. I actually think he knows when to pass or shoot, but the other option is Carlos Borges and Embuda. That would also be fantastic. But again, they are raw and they would take time to develop, I think. But one thing, when what do you think about Mateo Kovacic? Of all the rumors, Mateo Kovacic to City, there have been news from multiple outlets that City officials have met Mateo Kovacic in London yesterday. I think yesterday or day before. Yesterday, I think. So it looks like Gundogan might leave, and although they don't want him to, and Mateo Kovacic to City looks much and much closer. Kovacic is 28 and he's unpressable. His engine is superb. He's unpressable and stuff. Vinay says, yeah, whatever you said now said by Liao. He was interviewed on his run and passed to Giroud. Exactly, but Rafi Liao again, I think, young player, 22, 23, coming from Milan, played in the Champions League, has that experience. I think Liao would be very, very important. See, especially in ties like Bayern second leg. There was a period when we sort of Bayern sort of and it was only Haaland and Bayern sort of camped in our half. If you also had an outlet like a Liao out wide, then it would be much difficult for someone to just camp in your half. Even for certain period you could. I mean, having a Liao would almost be like having someone like I'm not comparing, but having someone like a Vinicius Junior with that pace. Opponents would just be so terrified of you on the counter. Vinay says Croatian finally. That is true, Kovacic. But City have wanted Kovacic since at that time he was signing for Chelsea. There were strong links between us and Kovacic. See, there are pros and cons of Kovacic. The main pro of Kovacic is unpressable on the ball. His engine is superb. He's literally one of the more unpressable players. You just can't press him. His positional awareness is fantastic. He carries the ball beautifully. Just like Bernardo. You play Bernardo and Kovacic in our midfield and it's impossible along with Rodri, it's impossible for the opposition to take the ball. It's just impossible. Opponents might just play with another ball. They might just get another ball to themselves. That's how good. Rico Lewis, will he take the shot? I don't think. So that is the pro of Kovacic. And he has a good shot on himself, of course. But the con of Kovacic is, does he make those late runs like Ilkay Gundogan? The answer is no. And I don't know if he has that in him. Because I haven't seen it in him when he was playing at Chelsea. He doesn't make those late runs. Is he capable of playing alongside De Bruyne in the 3-2-2-2 system, which we are playing 3-2-2-3 system? Can he play alongside De Bruyne as an attacking midfielder? I don't know. Does he have those attacking qualities like a Gundogan as well? Because one of the key things about Gundogan is, like Peter Dury said on the last day of the title race last season, Gundogan has that mischief in his runs. The way he makes those runs, it's just fantastic. That's a quality that is rare to find. So I think you lose a bit of attacking sense if you sign Mateo Kovacic, but then you gain a bit of defensive steel in terms of protecting the ball, passing the ball from the midfield in terms of pressure. So I think those are the pros and cons of Kovacic. United's back three systems need pacey wingers. Am I right? Back three systems indicate defense and counter. I mean, traditionally that is true. Traditionally, what you said is exactly true. If you look at the back three systems of Conte, for example, at Chelsea 2016 title winning season, Hazard on one side, Willian on the other side, had Pedro. They're all it is all fully it was pacey. Pochettino, when he switched to a back three 2016 season, Heung-min Son on one side, he had Lucas Moura on the other side, pacey wingers. So you're actually right. Back three system needs pacey wingers. I mean, Bayern is another other example. Sometimes they play back three, but I actually think this is not a traditional back three system because when we lose possession of the ball, I actually think it becomes a back four, and when we are in possession of the ball, see the difficulty with this system is when we are in possession of the ball, John Stones goes into the midfield, wherever he goes in from centre back or right back. So then it becomes a back three system. But when you have pacey wingers here, I think one of the things that comes with having pace is you also lose the ball. You also lose the ball. How many times have Coman, Sané, even Rodrigo, Vinicius, how many times they lose the ball, for example, trying to accelerate, Saint Maxim for Newcastle. So almost a goal for Julian Alvarez over there. So when you lose the ball quickly, I think it becomes a little bit difficult to recover back very quickly in this shape. That's why I think Pep earlier on in the season when Haaland was not getting service and he kept Foden out of the team, he was speaking about Foden not having that pausa, not having that sense of knowing when to up the tempo of the game. So I actually think with this system, Pep wants wingers who protect the ball well. Mahrez, Bernardo, Grealish. So I think that against Real Madrid, Pep is actually playing Grealish and Bernardo rather than play or even a Mahrez rather than play Foden. I think Foden will be last in the picking order to play against Real Madrid just because of the control of the wingers needed in the system. So so I think that is one thing. But then I'm speaking about Rafinha just because sometimes in this system what happens is it just becomes too predictable. Like what happened in the first half against Sheffield United. That is when the pacey winger could just be useful just to mix it up. I actually think we need a mature pacey winger for this system. A pacey winger who knows when to accelerate and who doesn't lose the ball early on. I mean, I might be wrong here, and I'll get a lot of stick as well here. But I think one of the weak links of the system in terms of in when we have possession is Kevin De Bruyne, for example, because I know he's the best midfielder in the world. He's been the best player this season. But in terms of just the system, because who is the player who is much more likely to lose the ball in the system, which will affect the system the most? In the midfield, Kevin De Bruyne, right? Okay, because De Bruyne takes risks. So can you have De Bruyne? Can you also have a winger who takes risks, who does not have pausa, who gives away the ball? I don't think it's possible. So there are a few complications. I think when we go for that winger, I wouldn't be surprised if Prep brings in someone who can retain the ball, a Grealish type of a winger again, and we hold our heads again. What is he doing? Vinay says Leao a bit lazy. That's my concern. Vinay says feels like he doesn't want to work. Even Grealish was like that, right? When Grealish was like that. Phillips is like that. He was overweight when he came into training I think after the World Cup. But Grealish was like that. My God, if Grealish had the work rate what he did right now, his defensive awareness, we would have won that Real Madrid semi-final. Who crossed the ball? From where did Carvajal cross the ball for that equalizing goal? Injury time equalizing goal from Grealish's side. Grealish had a tackle on Carvajal and missed it, and Carvajal crosses it for Rodrigo to head in last season. So Grealish, I mean, the work rate can just be improved actually. Mitoma, you're right, Vinay. Mitoma, it feels like Mitoma would actually be the perfect signing for that winger spot. Has pay, but again, would what different would Mitoma give you from Phil Foden, for example, or from a Jack Grealish? That's another thing. I know he's a much more cleaner dribbler of the ball, but Mahrez was the best dribbler of the ball. Right now, even he is. But being a good dribbler of the ball at Leicester, at Brighton is different to being a good dribbler of the ball at City, right? Because look at Grealish today. Grealish is a very good dribbler of the ball. They had three people on you. When three people are there on you, what do you do? That is what is different from doing well at a Brighton, being a prime ringer at a Brighton or a Leicester or a Aston Villa and at City actually. So Mitoma would be good, but what difference would he give you from a Mahrez, a Grealish, a Foden, a Palmer potentially? I know he's not been good this season, but generally. So I think we need to look for someone of a different profile who offers that different extra. Vinay says Mitoma is a Pep player. That is true. But Vinay, don't you think the definition of who is a Pep player is actually changing? By the way, City have won the game 3-0 and it's actually done. It's actually done. Yeah, don't you think the definition of what it means to be a Pep player is changing? Because I think even 2 years ago, even last year, for example, why do we want to go so long? Even last year, the year before, Pep player means you have all those silky players, even defenders as well. This is a coach who played Mascherano at centre back Champions League final against United. He played Yaya Toure back there. All of small fullbacks who love to come into the midfield. Philip Lam, Joshua Kimmich, all of those people. But right now, if you look at the direction in which Pep is actually going, huge personalities. The back four is huge. Everyone almost about 6 feet. Four centre backs. Rodri is there providing that physicality. Haaland is there providing that physicality up front. So literally, I think the definition of what it means to be a Pep player is changing. Pep has actually evolved. I think this season especially, Pep is okay with not keeping possession. Pep is okay with having the other team enjoy dominance. Pep is okay with his team being dominated a little bit more. Pep is okay with waiting for chances to pounce on the mistakes. So a lot of things Pep has actually changed. Pep, I wouldn't say ego, but everyone has an ego. So I think Pep has kept that possession based ego aside, and Pep has decided that it doesn't matter if Bayern have 10% possession more than me. I think in the last decade there would not have been any team who would have come to our Pep's home ground, be it Barcelona, Bayern or at City, and dominated a Pep Guardiola side by possession, leave alone 10%. So Pep is okay to concede 10% possession to Liverpool, to Bayern Munich. Pep is okay to concede possession to Arsenal. Arsenal had more possession than us when we played them. Liverpool had more possession than us, I think, at the Etihad. So I think Pep has actually realized, he stepped back. He's known that people. He's almost realized that people who don't learn from the past failures, don't learn from what has happened in the past in the history, they themselves, they become history. Look at what has happened to Jose Mourinho there. Failed to evolve and he's having to learn it the hard way. So Pep has actually realized all this, and that's what I was thinking yesterday. How Pep is, this Pep, even though he's one of the best managers in the world, even he sat back and he said, I need to go on and I need to move on and move ahead rather than being caught in this false nine, this passing system. Vinay says two finals. What do you think, Vinay? Would you like Brighton or would you like Manchester United in the finals? I think United in the finals would just be something else, right? Harry Maguire against Haaland. Vinay says results greater than performance. Exactly, Vinay. That is what Pep has realized. Results greater than performance. It doesn't mean that he has completely ignored that there should be a pattern, and he has said just do like Big Sam says, boot the ball up. No, there has been patterns of play, there have been systems. This 3-2-2-2 system could be the system of the future. Know that people like Pep are 2-3 steps ahead of everybody. See, the thing is, when everybody is going into this false nine system, you see Arsenal bringing Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko inverting into the midfield and all of that. Chelsea under Graham Potter trying to do it. Spurs actually under the new manager will actually try to do it. United under Ten Hag doing the same thing. False nine, they want a false nine. Their wing fullbacks inverting into the midfield. Xavi trying to do this at Barcelona. What has Pep done? He's completely moved away from that system. Now he has four centre backs, physicality in his team, a big physical striker up front, almost shifting to a back three. So I think that tells you the progressiveness of Pep. When Pep was playing false nine, everyone was playing with the striker. Now when Pep is going back to a striker and shifting to another system, everyone is playing with the false nine. I think the only person uh, who is ahead in this time, just I wouldn't say equal to Pep, but who has his own sense of inventiveness. For me, Arteta, Ten Hag, Xavi, all of them are they are disciples of Pep in the sense that they're almost miraging what Pep has done. But there is one manager, De Zerbi at Brighton, who's playing it in his own way. He's so inventive. I'm so much impressed with what De Zerbi is doing at Brighton. I mean, when Pep leaves after 4 years, 5 years, how long he wants to stay? I think if possible, De Zerbi could be a good option for us actually. Vinay says how many times we gave good performance but didn't get results. Real Madrid is a prime example. Vinay, Real Madrid is a prime example. I mean, I think nothing would have hurt Pep more than I think that Real Madrid thing would have been the last nail in the coffin for Pep in terms of moving away from this possession, being adamant to possession, because you dominate 180 minutes of a game. Almost, you dominate 180 minutes of the game. You dominate 95% of 180 minutes of a game, and yet you lose to 1 minute, 1.5 minutes in extra time. What else do you want to ask from a team? A team can't have more domination than that. I think Pep would have looked at that result last season and would have gone, if I want to win in knockout competitions, i.e., the Champions League, I need to approach it differently. I need to put my ego aside and I need to look for a system. So this is fantastic work from Pep. Kudos to Pep. Wonderful, the inventiveness, even at this stage, having won so many things from Pep. Just fantastic, I would say. Wonderful result for us. Vinay says into finals, great experience for Haaland in his first season. He's already experiencing superb things. Vinay Haaland in his first season has led us to the semi-finals against Bayern Munich. Haaland in his first season had the guts to say after that Leipzig game that I'm not here to win the Premier League. City have won the Premier League so many times. That is not the sole reason why I've been brought here. Well, I want to win the Premier League, but my main aim is to win the Champions League. Can you name another 22, 23-year old or another young man in his first season coming out and telling that my job is to win a Champions League here? That's a superb confidence, supreme confidence from Haaland. Again, Haaland is another example of why he'll eclipse Kylian Mbappe. Again, putting that ego aside, Haaland is looking to learn this new system of coming to the midfield, making more intelligent decisions, timing his runs better, offering space to his fellow strikers. Riyad Mahrez's goal was a clear example. Haaland made his run from the midfield, it actually created a lot of space for Riyad Mahrez. So fantastic learning curve for Erling Haaland. He's a sponge who always absorbs knowledge, Erling Haaland. So I think that is the attitude you need to have. Just you have to learn and learn. The moment you think like Kylian Mbappe that I am bigger than the game, it's over. It's you can never achieve those things. You can never go on to be at the pinnacle of the game. So I mean this season, I think apart from Calvin Phillips, this season is turning out really well. Back much better than we have actually expected for a lot of players. Vinay says next step Arsenal. Good night, Vinay. And yeah, next step Arsenal. The finals never stop coming, right? And in a way that it's been a long run, right? it's almost been a month since we have played every game as a final. Newcastle game was a final for us. Liverpool game was a final for us. Arsenal at the Emirates was a final for us. Leipzig, that second leg was a final for us. So, I mean, how many finals we have played? We must have played at least six, seven, eight finals until now. And it's kudos again, a team that is in transition. I'll never forget that this team is in transition. This team is still adjusting to play with Erling Haaland. This is not the complete team. This team is adjusting for Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, and all of the others to get on the same wavelength. So never forget that this team has been in transition, and yet we have gone almost toe to toe with this Arsenal team. It's kudos to us actually more than anything else. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining in the discussion and all, and good night. Take care.